everybody again. I know it's been about 2 weeks since my last video, but I have a really good explanation, a couple actually, and you might find the story a little interesting. So I had been struggling to figure out what we were going to do about finance, about money, about earning money, and because we're out of money from our savings and everything, and that's fine, but of course we need to figure out what we're going to do. So I just became a little obsessed with trying to find ways to make passive income online. I started using all of my time to research ways that I could make some extra money. And I came up with the one that was best suited to me, was selling books on Amazon, but also selling digital downloads and such on Etsy. So for a little while, for a couple of days, that's all I did. I was just so obsessed with figuring this out, and I finally figured out something that I wanted to do. So then that took me down the rabbit hole into another project that linked to that project, which was looking for the stock photos and everything that I would need to make this certain product that I had intended to make, or certain 3 products. And it just consumed me, and I started getting really discouraged, but also anxious, and I felt like I needed to do this fast, hurry up, make some product, post it online on these websites, and try to start making an income that way. And then I also started, on top of that, researching about, okay, well, I could sell stock photos. So one thing led to another, and so on and so forth. And I was so stressed out and so bogged down with all this new stuff that I was working on that you're not gonna, what I'm gonna say next is not what you think it's gonna be. That suddenly the electricity went out. And now you might think, well, that's not unusual because that happens here all the time. But the scenario around this electricity event was particularly strange. So let me explain. The electricity had started going out every single day. I started keeping a log. I'm not even kidding. I was writing it down, the time it went out, and how many hours it took for it to come back on. The longest during this a little over 2-week period of time was 15 hours. And the shortest time when it would go out would be like between 2 and 4 hours, was average 2 and 4 hours. And this was every single day. This was a little unusual for it to be like in succession that fast, every single day and with no break. So I thought, wow, something definitely is going on out of the ordinary, because this is not normal. And during this time, while the electricity was out, I was getting frustrated because all I wanted to do was get back to work online, make these products that I was working so hard, and all my time was being consumed by this project. And that's all I wanted to do. I didn't care about the TV, I didn't care about anything. I just wanted to work on these products. And so it was just really weird that the electricity started going off around this time, and at the same time I started thinking, it's something more than that. Maybe somebody is trying to tell me something. So even one day it went out 4 different times, and it was like out at 5 o'clock in the morning. And then maybe it came on probably 3 or 4 hours later. It would stay on for about an hour, and then it would go off again for another 4 to 5 hours. This happened all day long, and it was so frustrating. And I just wanted to work. And then, to top it off, when the electricity finally came back on and seemed like it was going to stay on, the internet was out. And we've had a little bit of issues in the past with the internet, but not like we had recently. So the electricity came back on, and then the internet, it was just off. And then, come to find out, our internet pole was also blown over by the wind and broken, snapped in half. You can see it here in this video. It was completely destroyed. So that day, I wasn't even mad. I laughed, and I said to God, what are you trying to tell me? And the first thing is immediately when I said that, I heard in my head, you know, sometimes when God talks to us, you think it's yourself talking to yourself, but you begin to distinguish if it's you or if it's God, the closer relationship that you have with him. And I know for sure in my heart that this time it was not my own voice. And I'm not crazy or anything. I know that's the first thing people think. You hear voices and you say it's God. People want to say you're crazy, but just get in a relationship with God yourself, and then you'll start to understand. But when I said that, I said, okay, God, what do you want from me? What is it you want me to do? Because for some reason, that's what I felt like, that this was happening because I was being sent a message. Immediately when I said that, I heard the voice. I want you to work on your books. Not all of this other stuff. I will provide for you. And it just hit me like a wall, like I ran into a wall, and it just woke me up. And I realized that before I had started working on this Etsy and extra Amazon on the side stuff, that had nothing to do really with writing my books, I had started thinking more about working on my nonfiction works, my Christian help books and my memoir and all these things, these ideas that I have had. I started thinking about them more. I didn't really start working on them, but I was heavily thinking about them. And so I knew right then that's what I'm supposed to do. And as many of you know, for a very long time, at least the whole time I've been here, and even before I left Arkansas and came to Mexico, I have been in a writing drought. I haven't been able to write any kind of story, to really do anything about involving writing for so long. And I did come to the realization a long time ago. I don't think I ever mentioned this in any of my episodes, but when I wrote that the book that put me on the map for a very short amount of time, me with my 15 minutes of fame, and the one that made me so much money, I did pray for that. I know I've talked about that in videos. I prayed for that to happen, basically, sort of, not necessarily, please make this book. I never prayed for the book itself to become a bestseller. There was a situation between me working at the time and trying to finish a book at the same time, and something told me I need to quit my job, write this book. And around the same time, I had prayed, please help me, Lord, to make enough money to buy a house and at least send my kids to college. There's a whole video on it. You can look at it. It's in my Miracles and Signs playlist, and it's called My Dream Came True 2012. So if you want to know the whole story, you haven't heard it yet, you can find it there in that video. So just want to make it kind of reiterate briefly here for the explanation. So I always wondered why. Why did my books stop selling? Why did I not have any more bestsellers after that? Why did my money continue to dwindle? I continued to work on books so hard, pouring my heart and soul and everything into these fiction secular books, and nothing ever came of them again. I mean, I did, do little things here and there, had a little movie out of one of my book series, and, but nothing too big, nothing major. Definitely, I did not sustain my income through writing, that is for sure. And I had always wondered, what did I do wrong? Why would God just answer this one prayer and make this one book go, become a bestseller, and then every other book after it just kind of, drop out of the bottom, hit the floor, not do anything. And I recently did come to the conclusion that because God gave me this gift to be able to write, that is my gift. Everybody has a gift, a hobby, a passion, something that they're good at, something that they love to do. And these are our God-given gifts. And I know that now God did not intend or want for me to use the gift that he blessed me with to write, to cater to a secular world. That was not in his plan. He did help me once in a major way with my writing and becoming a bestseller and having enough money to live on for the past 11 years. There is no doubt about that. He did that. But he's not going to continue to help me to cater to secular audiences. And so I realized that recently. Before the electricity situation that I'm talking about in this particular video, before I started writing the nonfiction stuff, I did realize that, okay, but why would God want me to continue to write books that have nothing to do with praising him or glorifying his name? And so that became a reality to me. It became obvious to me that that's not what I was supposed to be doing all this time with the talent and the skill that he gave me. I was supposed to be writing books that glorified him. I was supposed to be using the talent and the skill that he gave me to help spread the gospel in however way I can, whatever way that I can do it. And I had not been doing that. So recently I started thinking more about my nonfiction books, and I didn't actually start working on them or went back to working on my memoir or anything like that, because my memoir is actually, it's about my life, but it's more about the miracles and blessings that God has performed in my life. So it's definitely 90% God, 10% me, really. And so that's what God wants me to do. I know that now. And it didn't take, it took this electricity and internet situation for me to realize and to hear that voice telling me, I want you to write your books. I want you to work on those books, not on this other stuff right now, but these books, these things that you know that you're supposed to be doing. Stop looking for, that's not all this voice said all this, I'm just kind of elaborating a little more. But stop looking for all these other projects, stop trying to pile more stuff onto my plate, and stop worrying about finances and income, and trust me. And then the voice did say, I will provide for you. So then immediately that day, I just put everything away. All the projects, these things, these products that I was working on, I put the folder away, and I started working immediately on my phone, actually, not on the computer, because the electricity still was off at one point, and of course the internet's going to be off whether the poles broke or not if there's no electricity. So I was just laying there in the bed with my phone, and I had my little notepad on the phone, and I started writing notes for this book, this nonfiction book that I'm almost done with. It's a short, it's not like a long, average, typical 350-page fiction book. It's a nonfiction book, and I'm titling it My Grateful Journal, or The Grateful Journal. You will see a video here of a rough draft of the cover. Of course, this is not final, and I'm going to change maybe the title, the color of the title, and also the inside. I love doing interior design, and so it's not very heavy on text, but it's not a low content book like Amazon describes low content books as journals or coloring books, things that have very little text and more just interaction, like journaling, for instance, like I mentioned. So I've been working so hard on this book, and it started in my phone. And I write these notes in my phone, and I'm just like, I don't have access to the internet, so I'm not tempted to get on the internet. I'm not tempted to work on other projects, and I'm almost done with it. And I'm so relieved and excited, and I feel, this is the key, I feel once again that I'm able to write. It's like now that I have realized what I'm supposed to be working on, God gave me a message clear as day, and now all of a sudden we haven't really had any problems with the electricity. The internet goes out every now and then, but it's nothing too major. And something else weird happened the other day, a couple of days ago. I was a little frustrated because one of the last days when the electricity stopped going out, it went out, and first of all, it was out in the morning, so I wasn't able to do anything but write on my phone these notes. And then it came back on with just enough time for me to cook and for me and my husband to sit down at the table, enjoy our lunch together, and watch something on TV, like we always do at lunch. And then when we were done, it went out again. And so I used that time while it was out to write more notes in my phone. And it stayed out for probably 2 hours, and it came back on again. And it gave me just enough time to use as you can see right here, I have brought the treadmill back in. I needed it badly, have not had any exercise, haven't been able to use our trail that my husband made for me down there because it's been raining so much, and there's the mosquitoes, it's like a plague of mosquitoes, so I haven't really been able to go down there. So we brought the treadmill back in. The electricity came back on with just enough time for me to do my 30 minutes on the treadmill, for me to sweep and mop the floors and clean the bathroom and do the things that I need to do in the home, and then it went off again. And so I used the time again when it went off to write more notes in my phone. And it kept doing this all day, and it would just, and the weird thing is we have a set time that we do things. We have a set time when we eat lunch. I have a set time usually when I get on the treadmill and clean. And I just find it very odd that the electricity decides to come back on when I needed to do these things. And then it went off again when I was done. It's just so weird to me. That can only be God. That's not coincidence. It's God helping me to stay focused and to stay on track and to stay motivated and inspired to do what I need to do, what He wants me to do. And so that's what I've been doing. And I've been feeling a little guilty about not having a video put up. Even if I had one, I wouldn't have been able to upload it because the internet was out for 8 days. No internet for 8 days. And during that 2 weeks, I've had the internet problems, the electricity problems. There's no way I would have been able to upload a video in the first place. So yeah, I've been more focused on these book projects, and I'm so happy about that. I feel like I'm finally doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and that feeling, I can't even describe it in words other than it's so freeing, and it's such a relief to know that I'm finally on the right track, and I'm not wasting my time or wasting my talent, my gift that God gave me on things that are not going to do anything for me or anybody else. And so, yeah, that's basically what's been going on with me this past 2 weeks. And something else that I have also done, I had a lot of unfinished projects for books that I had intended to write about vampires, fantasy worlds, demons, all those things that I used to write. And I had, as any writer or author knows, they probably have the same thing. We always have these projects that we never finished. There are probably more projects that we started and stopped and just kind of left them over there in a little folder to collect digital dust until maybe one day we would pick them up again and start working on them. We probably have more of those than actual published works. So I had so many ideas, so many like covers that I had already worked so hard on. These covers that I was very proud of. I loved them. I was like, I wanted to finish writing the books just so I could show off the covers, but I never finished them. I never did anything with them. And so to prove to myself and to show God that I'm in this for good and that I'm not going to fall back like I have my whole life, I deleted everything from my online storage, from my computers to any backups that I had. I deleted all of these projects. And I did not regret it. I still don't regret it. I feel like this burden has just been lifted off my shoulders, and I'm just so happy and glad and relieved that I have gotten rid of these secular works and that I'm not tempted by them anymore. And another thing I did was go through and delete all my secular music. Now, I've not really been a music person anyway, so it's not like, oh no, a lot of people can't live without music. They have to have music, in the car, doing the laundry, just music. You spend money on music, and but I used to be a music person, and I always loved 70s music and 80s music mostly. I never kept up with the trend music. I never was one of those people. Every now and then there would be a song that would come out that I would really like, but mostly it was 70s, 80s music. And I had a lot of music from over the years that I had collected, but I had stopped really listening to it probably 6 or 7 years ago. I just didn't really care much anymore, unless we were driving around, a long distance on a vacation or something and traveling. We would listen to music, but so I went in and I deleted all my music, everything. And I also went into my Kindle app and I deleted every single secular book that I have purchased, which was probably a couple $1,000s worth of books, maybe not a couple thousand, maybe $1,000 worth of digital books, Kindle books. And I deleted every single one of them. Not just from my Kindle, but from my Amazon account. So I can't access them later even if I wanted to. And again, I don't regret it. I'm very happy with myself. I'm proud of myself for doing this. And I just feel like I'm finally where I've needed to be my whole life. And that's what's been going on. So I just wanted to give everybody this really deep update, this really detailed update, let you all know what's been going on, what I've been working on. I'm not obsessed with the YouTube videos. I love doing the YouTube videos, but I'm going to do them, when I feel like I need to say something, but I'm not going to be like a lot of YouTubers and, you got to put one out every week, every 2 weeks, or every 3 weeks. I'm just going to put one out when I need to put one out, and that be that, because I don't want anything else to consume my time other than what I know I'm supposed to be working on. And yeah, so that's what's been going on. I know I said that 3 times, but I don't really have anything else to say right now, except that I've just been working on these projects, these book projects, and I hope you will all stick around to see what I'm doing, and subscribe to the channel. It's very, very important. There are a lot of people, I can look in the statistics, there are a lot of viewers who watch the videos, they just don't subscribe to the channel. And when you don't subscribe, it doesn't help for me to be able to make ad revenue. But whatever, you know, like God said, He will provide, so I'm sure it will happen eventually. Whether I'm making money through YouTube or from books or from maybe later on picking up those projects that I'm putting aside right now to write these books, God will provide, so I'm not worried about it. But I'm glad to be able to at least get on and tell everybody what's been going on and give you an update, and know that I do have more videos coming out soon. I always say that because I have like a 6-page list of topics to discuss, and but right now I'm really working hard on these books, so I might be a little in between with the video uploading. So until next time, God bless.